Might even been a big star. At least that's what the papers would say. Yet I wasted my time. Now I'm way past my prime. I let the whiskey take me away. I'll be the first to admit I found it easy to quit. Too many times I watched the night turn to day. I succumbed to a rage. I walked off the big stage. I let the whiskey take me away. Oh, the whiskey takes me away to a dream from yesterday. I let the devil come in, and he took what might have been. I let the whiskey take me away. Was it the demons inside, or just a stubborn old pride? Was it a woman that led me astray? Another redneck saloon singing worn out old tunes. I let the whiskey take me away. Oh, the whiskey takes me away.
So this is going to be a real quick impromptu video that I wouldn't even do, except that I
yesterday.
because my most flexible gloves I had are these Lincoln, and they're really comfortable to wear until about 2 months into it, the inner liner on one of the gloves started coming loose. And when that happens, you can't get your fingers in the right hole anymore, and then all the insulation went away, and so now I've got a glove that I can't even put on. But I liked these gloves because they had the reinforced fingers right there. Had reinforced palm area, although I don't know how important that is, but I do wear my gloves all the time, and you can see that I use them when I'm grinding and so on. So I got in my thumb a little bit on that one. And these are probably 6 months old. And the other thing that I'm pretty good about doing is burning the fingers off my gloves, because the way I like to hold the torch, I usually will hold the torch like this, and this finger here gets cooked and it burns up. So I know some guys say, well, just slip a TIG finger over it, which I've thought about doing. But those were so comfortable, and even though I've had these for quite a while, I really didn't get, I mean, you can tell I've been using them because these got so bad. They started wearing the Millers, and they're fine. They're just stiffer. They're a stiffer glove. As you can see, they're almost identical in length. Very, very similar in design, except that Miller wraps theirs over here where they gave you a break here. And I think that's why it makes these a little bit less flexible. And again, you know, the way I like to weld is my finger gets, when I'm welding, this finger here gets cooked pretty good, and this extra leather here is pretty helpful for keeping your finger from cooking off, and it does get a little warm. But anyway, I've got to steady my hands because of the fact that I've got shaky hands. That's that. I bought these the other day at Orscheln's, and these weren't bad. I think these, I'll have to look at the price, but I'm thinking these are like 40 bucks. I think these were like $30-ish. These were 13 at Orscheln's, and they're nice. In fact, very, very flexible. Right out, brand new, but they don't have the reinforced fingers, so I'm going to end up with the same issue that I always do, is I'm going to have a burn-up finger with these. So the other day when I was ordering my graphene liner from Yeswelder, I saw they had gloves, and I thought, you know, these look pretty heavy duty. They've got a reinforced knuckle, but they're not tied across. I don't know how these are going to hold up again without having that reinforced leather over top of my finger here. I'm thinking that these are, you know, without that reinforced area, these are probably going to end up like these, and I'll end up burning up that finger eventually. I'm thinking these were like $24. I'll double check, but I'm thinking they're like 24 bucks. And so today I've been using them because we're working on the lathe today. And so I thought, you know, while I'm doing the cutting and grinding and things of that nature, this is a good time to get these broken in. Nothing worse than trying to MIG weld with, and you're getting ready to pull the trigger and your finger's stiff and you're not getting good trigger control because you got stiff fingers from really thick new gloves. So anyway, that being said, these are actually pretty flexible. I do think that I'm going to miss that reinforced area there because of the way I like to weld, but they've got really good insulation on them. So I'm going to find out how well they handle the heat. And they do have the reinforced fingers here, so I don't think you're going to wear through those like you would these. These don't have any reinforcements at all, and except in this area, which is fine. But there's also, these are half the price of anything that's on here, so don't know if a guy can complain too much about that. Again, these have held in there really well, even though I've gotten into my finger or my thumb a few times, and the finger hasn't burned away yet. So I just wish that they would have done a better job of putting better liners in there, because the liners all frayed and they've gone bad. Where these are good, but they're stiffer. And again, they've got that reinforced area here, so I have a feeling I'll get quite a bit of life out of these. But there you have it. Real quick glove tech advice. When you're, depending on what you're doing, there are some, if you're going to be TIG welding, you want thin gloves. And that's why they came up with the TIG fingers, which are, you know, a heat-resistant fiberglass-like finger that you can slip over your gloves so you don't burn up your you know, you don't burn up your finger there when you're feeding the wire in, because you're right there by the heat. So that is the filler rod. So TIG gloves are significantly thinner than MIG gloves. MIG gloves are typically made a little bit differently than, say, when you're arc welding, stick welding, because when you're stick welding, in most cases, until you get down with a short rod and you're getting close to the weld puddle, you really, I used to weld all the time without gloves on at all when I would MIG weld or stick weld, until I would start getting to the shorter rods and I would grab my gloves. But with TIG or MIG welding, that doesn't work for me, especially when you're welding out of position and getting little pops and stuff. I think that these being longer are going to be handy. I like the cuffs length on these Yeswelder ones, and I think that's going to be great, especially when I throw my leather jacket on, welding jacket. These will definitely overlap on top of that to keep stuff out of my to keep the sparks and the slag and anything like that out of my gloves, which you ever get when you're MIG welding, and for those of you guys have done this and got something hot in your gloves, boy, that hurts. The other thing is when I would recommend y'all doing, if you haven't done it, is get yourself some headgear, something that will cover your ears when you're welding upside down and so on, because there is nothing more uncomfortable than having a piece of hot metal roll down your ear canal, listening to that thing burn and sizzle all the way down to your ear. So definitely want to cover your ears up, especially the uphill side ear when you're welding. If you got to keep your ears open so you can hear the welder and how it's welding and so on. If you're like me, I like to be able to hear that. Then at least, if nothing else, either cover one ear or put something over it. I usually, what I do is I've got these little welding hat things that I can put over my ear, that side. And if I don't have something like that, I'll grab something and put in like a, you know, an earplug or something in just that one uphill side ear. So there you have it. That's my 8 minutes, maybe less. We'll shorten this thing up, but thanks for watching.